Hi guys, Tammy Dunnett here. If you're joining me on the live feed at any time, you can certainly pop in there and just let me know you're here by either hashtag live or say hello, let me know you're listening. And if you're watching on the replay, you can do a hashtag replay so I know where you got the information. So yesterday on my Facebook Live, I talked about conflict and how we seem to manage it quite easily without even knowing that it's happening or that there's a potential for it to happen. So today I want to talk about how conflict can be quite a blindside, because fast forward maybe about 6 or so hours after that Facebook Live, maybe a little longer because it was after supper, I found myself in a potential conflict that could have blown up into a big issue. And it was kind of unexpected because everybody involved in the conversation was all working from a place of good intention. So let me give you the story. We got out to watch Star Wars, the new movie. God, I hope it was Star Wars. Sometimes I call it Star Trek and my husband just rolls his eyes at me. But last night we went out to watch the new movie Star Wars, Skywalker. Yeah, that's got to be the one. And at the end, we're going to the car and it's cold. It's Alberta. It's winter time. It's -9. Okay, so it's not horrible for Alberta, but it was cold. We get in the car and it's going to take a while for it to heat up. And as we were traveling home, so there's myself driving, my husband in the passenger, and my youngest son and his girlfriend in the back. I start to feel that there's a little bit of heat and my hands are freezing. So I put it on my hands. I turn the dial so the heat is coming straight out to my hands. Well, shortly afterwards, the two in the back start to complain that their feet are getting a cold breeze. And I'm like, I don't have vents back there, do I? I never sit in the back, but apparently I do. And my husband adjusts the flow of temperature, or the flow of air, so it's not being drawn from the outside in, but that it's recirculating the air that's in the car. Fantastic strategy, but it's still cold in the car, is what I'm thinking. And then I quickly change it from circulating on my hands, because my son had pointed out that I selected air on hands, air on feet. So I went to change that so that the air was just going up again. Take it completely off of their feet and just have the hot air blowing up on the window. Every one of those steps was very well intentioned. But all of a sudden we found ourselves in a little bit of a heated discussion. So what went wrong? This is what I mean by a blindside. So this can happen anytime. And as I said, most of the times we manage these quite effectively. The issue in last evening's conflict is that not one of us stopped to just pause. It's one of my fundamental steps that I teach about conquering conflict. We didn't pause, and we did not acknowledge the other person's contribution to trying to create a solution. Instead, we were all talking over each other and using statements like, well, you did this. So very judgmental, blame-oriented, and some of those statements were inaccurate because they were assumptions. Deadly things to conflict. Assumptions are like killers. So what we failed to do was implement the strategies that I teach about conflict because it was such a blindside. We weren't prepared for it. The best part about this, though, and with any conflict, is you can always circle back. You can take some time, reflect on it. What the heck went, like, we were just having a great evening out, and why all of a sudden are we all talking over each other and feeling frustrated? Crazy. But I know if you've had this happen, put a comment there and just let me know when this happened. Like, just share a little bit. Was it with a family member? Was it with a colleague? Was it with a friend? Was it at work? And how you got blindsided by conflict, and whether or not you were able to quickly resolve that, or if it became a bigger issue, which is generally the case, is sometimes these become bigger issues. And as I mentioned yesterday, when conflict goes unresolved, when we lack the skills to manage it, resolve it, work through it, conflict can lead us to thinking about people are acting as bullies because we feel like we're sacrificing and giving up what our needs are. Back to the story. When I did realize what I had done, I didn't take the pause. I was talking over them as well, trying to justify my actions. You know, it's kind of comical to me because this is what I do. But I also recognize that that's the danger and the pitfalls in conflict. Easily taken care of afterwards, sat down and chatted with my husband and kind of understood what he was doing, and asked to understand why he had changed the air, shared with him what my plan was, and we kind of laughed about it at the end of the day, and it was all done. So when you get blindsided, you may go back to your default mechanisms, and my default mechanism is defensive, and that's pretty common for a majority of us. When there's a threat, we go into fight or flight, and I couldn't leave because I was driving the car, so I went into fight mode, and it caused some issues. So if you're looking to get some resources to help you understand how to manage conflict and conquer it, so that even if you have to come back upon it, have another conversation, I have a lot of resources for you available on conquerconflict.com. You will notice that there is first a quiz to download about am I being bullied, and this may not be a bully situation, but in order to access those resources, that is the pathway to get into those resources. Is you just quickly fill out the information to get the quiz, and then you will see access to all the resources called the Expert Guide to Conquer Conflict, and it will help to position and protect you from big issues forming from little minor situations that can be resolved quickly. So until next time, make it a great day, and don't let conflict get in the way. Cheers.